Here we are. We are doing this. Hello, hello. How are we today? It's gonna be a fun day. I'm looking forward to this one. This is one of my favorite topics. So, how are we today? Tell me everything. Tell me everything. All about everything. Always vamp just a bit to get us started to let people find us. Um, I'm gonna get your comments up so I can see what's going on. So today we're gonna start planning. Are we ready to start planning our 2024? How can that be a thing? How can that be happening? I can't even get my head around it. So 2024 is right around the corner, just peeking out. Right now, it's far enough away that it's, you got some time, but it's the perfect time to start planning because you have some months. You have a few months. Just a few, less than a few, a couple, more than a couple, less than a few months to start planning for 2024. And I want to help you with that. I'm a certified life coach. For those of you who don't know, say hello in the chat so I can say hello and see that you're here. For those of you that don't know, certified life coach, and I like to use the skills that I have. You can hear Scruffles is with me today. That's her jingling in the background. So I like to use these skills to help people with their reading career. It might seem kind of left turny, but they actually, hi there, it actually all fits together. So as you become a reader, we want to make sure that you have a life of contentment. I'm not going for happy all the time. We want it to be that your life is, as even as possible. So hey there, hi there. I see it from Boston. Lovely. See all y'all coming in. So we want to optimize for contentment, right? We want to optimize for your life to be as even keeled as possible. And today's exercise really demonstrates how even keeled are we. So as we go through this today, we've done this before, but it's been a while. So I have, with all the new people that have come in, I don't think you guys have done it. So I think it's gonna be really interesting and fun. And so as we go through this, it will let you kind of know, how even keeled are you? How smooth are things going for you? And then we can start planning for the future. So using the life coach skills to help you do that, so that then as someone who is critiquing others all the time, being a reader. So that's what we're constantly doing. And so one of the things that we talk about, the way that we teach being a reader, is not that you're looking for what doesn't work. You're not looking for the problems. You're not looking to fix it. You're not looking to that. It's the flip of that. You're staying curious. You're looking for what works. You're looking for how can you make it better. So by being curious and coming from that perspective, the problems you'll see, the problems jump out you. We as a species, I don't know what this is, but it's just obviously true, is that we tend to see the things that aren't working easier than we see the things that are working. We kind of have to reach for the things that are working. When we're getting feedback, we tend to see all the negative things much easier than we see a positive note. If I say to you, you know what, you're amazing, you're so prolific, you're really smart, the way that you write is just so inspiring. You're a little bit weird and I don't quite understand you, but you're so fantastic and I just love what you did. What are you going to walk away from with that sentence? Why am I weird? What are you talking about? And that is so, like, it's been pretty universal. Every once in a while you find that gem of a person that's able to flip things all the time. And that's a beautiful skill. If you are that person, you have that skill, hang on to it because it's a big one. So we try to teach that skill here at Hollywood Gatekeepers so that you are coming from a place of what works, what's happening, what works well, how can we lead on this? And then that way, as the problems come, life is messy, things happen, you're able to better handle that. And so you aren't taking your angsty life out on the coverage. You're not like going a coverage, reading a coverage from the perspective of, oh, and this is terrible too. And we definitely don't want that for your life, to where the one thing is awful and awful and awful, and so is this. Because if you find that you're hating everything regarding coverages and regarding critiquing people, take a breath and look around your own world and see how dissatisfied are you with the things that are in your life. So this is a really great conversation for us to have now as we start to plan for 2024, because by knowing where you are now, by knowing like where are we having our angsty life, where is this happening, we can start to address it so that we can make better plans moving forward. So loving to see all these people from so many places. So Julie, it is about both. We here in Hollywood Gatekeepers, we are all about reading and analyzing screenplays. But let me preface that by saying, this is about, if you're a writer as well, writing a screenplay that gets past a reader is what it's all about. You have to be able to get your screenplay past a reader. So we have a lot of writers in here as well. So our course is designed where you can learn to be a reader and you can learn to write your screenplay. Like, you can use these things in both ways, but I will always be coming from a reader's perspective. So if you're a writer, let's flip this then. If you're a writer and you're getting critiques about your screenplay and you're getting notes and notes and notes and notes and notes, if your angsty life, then it's, oh yeah, you don't like me either. It's the same. Do you see how it all kind of goes together? If we have people that are critiquing us and we're unhappy in general in our world, that critique is going to be very personal. We're going to take it in a whole different way. But if we're fairly content, we're going to take it with, okay, give me more. I want to make this better. So it works both ways, all of the things that we teach here. So yeah, we don't come in and teach exactly all about writing or even exactly all about reading. The life coach aspect of this Hollywood Gatekeepers, of everything that we teach here, is to design your life so that your life is even keeled and your writing and your reading and your screenplays and whatever you're doing in this crazy business is fun and cool and moves forward and you can get things done and it's productive and all of that. So that's where we're always coming from. So I hope that clears that up for you, Julie. So definitely we come at both perspectives with reading and writing. So, but we are Hollywood Gatekeepers. That is the business. We are Hollywood Gatekeepers, meaning we are the gatekeepers that decide what takes a script and gets it to the screen. And by understanding what's holding you back in your life, you can also understand what's holding you back with your writing or your reading or your career in general. The other thing that you can apply this to as a writer, well, as a reader, helping writers, or as a writer, is that with characters, if you apply the tool that I'm going to give you today, if you use this tool on one of your characters, you take a character out of a screenplay, or if you're helping a writer or you're writing a coverage and there's a character that's just not quite working and you're not sure why, use this tool. The tools that are designed to help your life are, characters are people too. Even if they're animated cars, there's still the whole thing that all screenplays have in common is humanity. So we are still coming from a place of humanity, regardless of the type of character we are creating. We're still coming from that universal place of what it is to be human, even if the character isn't a human. So if you look at the tool that I'm about to give you and you have a character that's stumbling and not quite developing and you're having trouble with it, this is a great tool that you can use to help develop that character. All of our life coaching tools that we teach in here also can be applied to creating better characters. So it's very meta. It's many layers to all the things that we can use. So let me share this tool with you. So basically, what this tool does is it helps you determine where you are now. And by determining where you are now, you can make a better path moving forward. When you go to get in your car and you're going to head to whatever, you're going to make your flight and your plane ticket and you're going to fly somewhere to somewhere, the very first question it asks you is, where are you? Where are we leaving from? What airport do you put in first? Where are we going from, where to where? You can't know where you're going unless you know where you are. But in life, we tend to just, we trip through life without really stopping to assess, where am I? Where am I in my world right now? How am I handling my life? So that you can see, oh, here's a place where I can, spend some time. Here's a place where I can focus. Here's some things that I can do to make my life better. And then in turn, make my screenplays better, my reading career better, my career in Hollywood better, whatever, your whole world better. So I'm going to share this tool with you. This is a lovely, lovely tool. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to share my screen. We also have a handout. Let me give you that as well. So you can get this tool and this handout at this link right here. I can't put things in the chat, unfortunately. So if anybody wants to type it in there, I'd be forever grateful. So HollywoodGatekeepers.com/Hollywood DIY, meaning do it yourself. So these are there. And when you get to that page, you'll see that you enter your name and email to get to the page, to get to the training. And the reason that we do that, most of you, we already have your email, but we do that so that we can see which trainings are the most popular. And then that way we can create more trainings like that. So there is a method to everything we do. So you can look at that. And then there's many other trainings on that page as well. So check that out. And then let me share my screen. Hold on. You can do it. I can do it. Where is it? Present, share screen. It says present, and that always throws me a little bit. Okay. Hold on 1 second here. Cotton pick a minute. There we go. I found it. We got it. Here we are. So I'm going to come down here, go to the top. All right, so this is a time and balance worksheet. And this is a tool that you can use so that you can figure out where you are in your life. And I'm going to pull up your comments in case you have questions along the way. And then there we go. So hold on. Comments. Okay. I'll be able to see what you have, what you're throwing down. Okay. So this is a really great tool to use to discover where you are and how balanced is your life. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to chop up your life into these 9 categories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5. That's just to see if you're paying attention. So I'll fix that. So these are the kind of the main categories of our life, right? So you don't need to use the actual handout to do this. You can just do it on a piece of paper. I want you to draw a circle. And then what you're going to create is this right here. Draw a circle. Ooh, it looks so fancy. So draw a circle, and we're going to cut that circle into 9 categories. So you can just cut it in half, cut it in quarters. So if you put 1 straight up and down, 1 horizontal, and then 1 at diagonals on each side, you'll end up with having these categories. And so what we want you to do is you're going to think about each of these categories. So we kind of have, cut life into these sort of topics in our life. And think about on a scale of 1 to 5, I want to make sure it's 5. Yeah, 1 to 5. Like, how's it going? What's going on in terms of satisfaction, contentment? Doesn't necessarily, again, it doesn't mean that you're depressed and you're happy. Like, we don't want to go for this, like, I'm just going to Pollyanna myself forward. We want to take an honest assessment about where you are in determination of how satisfied with each thing. So in your romantic life, your relationships, love, how much, how is that partnership working? If you have a partner, if you don't have a partner, how satisfied? Maybe you don't want a partner, and that's fine. So it would be a 5. Maybe, where are you? And this will change. This is an exercise to do at least once a year, if not quarterly. I think quarterly is a great place to do it because this is going to change. You might, let's say that you don't have a romantic partner and you're fine with that, and it's a 5 right now, but that might change later. You might want, that to change, or whatever, it depends on what's going on in your life, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your circle and you're just going to color up to the place to where your number is. So if you look at the circle here, if you color in 1, 2, 3, 4, if your relationship love right here is a 5, then this whole thing is going to be colored in, right? And then you go to the next section, your family. How are you doing with the extended family? Parents, kids, I don't know, cousins, whatever, in-laws, whatever your other family is that you might be, and whatever family means to you, whoever you consider family, even if it's not a blood relative, whatever your idea of family is, how's that going? Is it really chaotic? Are there lots of relationships that you're working on? And again, take a look at this. Keep in mind, you can use this for characters too. If you have a protagonist, how are they doing in their love relationship? How's it working out for them? How are they with their family? So you can make sure that any protagonist that you create in your screenplay is covering all these bases. The more that you cover these bases of human life, the more human and universal your characters will be. So you can use it for writing. You can use that for critiquing a screenplay. If you're critiquing a screenplay and the characters aren't quite working, you can come back to this and be like, well, which one of these areas is not even mentioned in this character? Like, we all have all of these things. So a well-rounded character is going to have some semblance of all of these categories, right? So you want to make sure that that's the case with the characters that you're either critiquing or writing. So when it comes to your career, or you're studying, or what are you studying to do, or where are you at with your career? Color it up. Like, is it 2, 3, 4? Just color in the triangle up to where you feel it is for you. How are you doing financially? Are you, worries? Everything's paid. It's all on auto. We're good. Money's coming in. Money's going out. We're satisfied. Maybe we want to increase it more. Maybe we're desperate and we're struggling and it's really hard. So where are you with that? Where are your characters with that, right? You see how it all kind of fits together? And then your service, how are you in your community? Are you serving your community? Are you doing anything of service? And there's no judgment. Everybody's different. Everybody needs different things. Do you have a sense of local community? Do you have groups that you're in, places that you go? Like, well, how is your sense of community? How is your character's sense of community? Do they have a community or do they not have a community? Not having a community can be equally as compelling as having a community. So really being aware of that and being, filling in that circle for either yourself or your characters. How does that work? And then social life, friends, like, are you playful? Are you, you're drudging through life? Are you having fun? Like, how is your social? How is your kind of daily social environment? Are you a loner? Are you lonely? Can be two different things. Same is true with your characters. You look at Shrek and he's a loner and he was happy with that. But then he decides, I'm going to take care of this. He suddenly has a community that he has to deal with and he's not happy about it. But then what happens? He falls in love. And his love relationship may have been a 5 before he meets Fiona. So it's a 5 before he starts because he's perfectly fine being alone. And then he meets her. And then his 5 would be like down to 0 because he wants this relationship until they get married. It goes back up to 5. So you see how the wheel will change and grow throughout the story, just like it does throughout the story of our lives. So how is your spiritual self, regardless of, what you believe, your spiritual connection to whatever you believe in, your spiritual connection to your inner self, to, how you're feeling anxiety wise, how is your spiritual connection? And then how is your physical connection? How is your health? How are you feeling? How is your weight, whatever you want it to be? How are you eating? What are you drinking? Are you drinking enough water? Like, we can go like all different directions of it. Like, where are you? Fill that circle in. Where is your character? Are they super healthy? Are they, and sometimes a 5 on it, they might be a 5 in health and fitness because they're running, but maybe they're running because they have so much anxiety. So their spiritual self is pretty low because they're running and they're super fit because they're trying to get away from some PTSD or something, right? So all of these kind of fit together, right? So as you look through these and you fill it all in and then you look, so then you get to this circle here. So when you think about it, so let's say you have a 5 in your relationships and you have a 4 because your family's going pretty well, but you're really in the middle of switching careers. A lot of people here, that's the case. So you're maybe at a 1 or a 2, right? And then maybe, your finances are, well, they're okay. I'm maybe a 2. And then maybe your health and fitness. So I'm not, I'm kind of stressed out. So that would maybe be a 1. And then service community, I volunteer every day. I feel like I have all the support. That's a 5. And then your social and friends are like, well, I have a good community, but I don't really know anybody anymore. And that's a 3. So if you find, and then my spiritual self, it's like, I could be better. I could be better connected. I could be treating myself better. I could be more, having more ease in my life, more kind of practice of ease and flow. So maybe that's a 2. So if I've filled it in like that. Now, if you can imagine, it went like this. It went 5. And so it would be like, here's the end of the wheel. And then it would have dropped down a little bit. And then it would drop way down here. And then here kind of came up a little bit. And then here it kind of went up a little bit. And then here actually went up really high here. And then here it kind of went down a little bit. And then here it went down again. If you think of that wheel turning, that's a pretty rocky ride, right? It's a pretty bumpy ride. If you look at how that wheel is turning. So how is your wheel turning? How does that wheel turn for you? And I absolutely love this because it's such a great visual of where your life is. When you look at the things that are holding you back or the areas where you need to focus, by filling in this time balance, life balance wheel, this makes it very visual for you to imagine how you're bumping through life. Now, if sometimes things that are going, we want it to all be 5s, and that seems like it's going to be a really smooth ride. You're going to get some serious momentum doing that. And honestly, it's probably not realistic for everything to be there. Life is always a bit of a bumpy ride. There's always things we're trying to improve and grow. But by looking at this gives you like, oh, wow, there might be some aha moments of like, wow, I really haven't been focusing on play, for instance. I haven't been focusing on social. And I have to admit that one sticks out to me because that was something I realized not too long ago. It was like, wow, I'm spending a lot of time with just, my close family. I'm not really reaching out. And honestly, last weekend I reached out and we've been kind of connecting with someone that I used to dance with years ago. And we got together last Saturday, hadn't seen each other for decades. And we were roommates, dance partners, like really close. I mean, he kept saying all night, introducing us. We were the Will and Grace. And so we were really, really close. And I mean, seeing him and, playing with him was like the highlight. It was so amazing. And so that shot up my social and friends in a major way, right? So it's like being able to look at these different areas can help you go, okay, here's where I need to focus next. So as you look at that, where are the areas that you need to focus as you move into 2024? What would you like to be the same in 2024? If something is working, it's not broken. There's no need to fix it. I'm very guilty of fixing things that aren't broken. So, when you look at things like where is something that is going well, and making sure that how can you continue to nurture that so that you don't self-sabotage, you don't ruin the things just to keep your life interesting. I see this all the time in coaching where someone's life is going fairly well and then they'll just create drama. They'll find some way to make someone angrier. And it's like, what are you doing? And it's because sometimes that can get boring when life is going pretty well. Hey, things are okay. I think maybe I should mess something up here. I think we might do that. Are you someone that does that? Do you know someone that does that? And if you do know someone that does that, kind of look at it and see like, okay, how are they doing that? And then use it as a mirror and really like be honest with yourself to see, is that something that I'm doing? If you find, and this is true with artists in a big way, where we're so used to things feeding us and making us, passionate, and we're on to the next story, that when it starts to get hard, when we're writing that screenplay and we're in that saggy middle and we're in the middle of act 2 and it's starting to get hard, what happens? Like, it's so common. A flood of ideas will come for new projects. So you're in the middle of this screenplay that you're trying to finish and a ton of new things happen. You're in the middle of finishing the screen reader course and someone says, hey, look over here, shiny object. You're in the middle of something and you're right at that place where it starts to get hard. And then suddenly your brain will look for new opportunities, will look for new things. And that way that thing doesn't complete as you run off to something new. Really common. And then that way it's working, you're working on the thing, but it's getting a little bit hard. So can you push through that and know, and maybe that's in your career, study area. If you're writing your screenplay, finishing the course, deciding what you want to do for your career, can you stick with it? Can you let persistence guide you through? And then that that's the thing that, the secret sauce you want to add in 2024. So does this make sense to you guys? Let me know and give me some ideas. Let me see like what some of your wheels are. how are your wheels like panning out? Do you have a bumpy ride, or are you pretty like, okay, there's a little bit of but it's okay. I got one place it's like clink, clink. So how is it rolling for you? So really taking a look and seeing how that's rolling for you will really help you move forward. And then we are continuing to do trainings to really help with that, where really it's rocky, right? So I'm with you. And as I actually, Brooke Castillo, who's someone that I follow as a life coach, I think she's pretty spectacular. Is what she's accomplished. Diminished and spiked. You're a writer for sure. So good. Because her thing is that if your ride isn't rocky, if it's super small, your life is too small, because she has really big goals and aspirations. Now, some of us might not have those big goals and aspirations. She tends to think, no, we all should have that. I think you do. I mean, I don't know. I'm putting words in her mouth. She might not think that at all, but that's the impression I get. But well, actually, no, I'm already like contradicting, because she has said to people, if that's the life you want, that's fine. She wants a very big life. And so when her life is really content, rather, she's not looking at it as she's creating drama. She's looking at it as she wants to expand even more. Like, she loves the idea of expanding, growing. And so there's a lot of people like that, where if you really have big goals, aspirations. I have a friend who has very huge goals and aspirations, and her life is pretty rocky, but boy, she's reaching for some really big stuff. So when that happens, it can become tumultuous because you're so stepping out of your comfort zone all the time when you're reaching for big things. And I find that with some of the projects that I'm working on, some of the films that I've worked on, when we're reaching for some big thing with a film, it can be a pretty rocky ride because we're stepping into places we're not familiar with. And so that's okay, though. That's why we're here. We're here to help you with that. So I'm constantly creating trainings to help smooth that ride as you expand and grow. So we want expansion, or I want expansion for you if that's what you want. I want it for myself. I love expanding and growing and learning. So the more that I expand and grow and learn, the more I want it for others. But it can create a pretty rocky ride. So we're here to kind of create as many trainings, as many ways of looking at things to sort of help you with that rocky ride. And so this is why we do these free trainings, why we have all these trainings on YouTube and our Facebook group, so that you can get, through these rocky rides with as few bruises as possible is the idea. So we have another training coming up next week. At the end of next week, we'll be doing our Everything AI event. So if you want to join us for that, if you haven't already, I know that many of you, I'm seeing names here today that I know are coming. So it's very exciting. If you want to see information about that, you can go to HollywoodGatekeepers.com, Everything AI. And that has to do with artificial intelligence. And we're going to be covering writing screenplays as well as writing coverage using AI. Like, what does it mean? We're also going to talk about what if you don't want to use AI? How can you manage your career without using it? We're going to talk about both sides of it so you can see the differences. So it's a paid event. It's 2 whole days, 10 to 4 on the 21st and 22nd of October. Is the weekend. I think that's the right date. So we'll be getting together for 2 whole days. We'll dive into AI. It's a really safe space for you to ask questions, express concerns, whatever it might be. I'm going to walk you through some exercises. It's a really great community. The people that are signing up is so fantastic. So we do have early bird tickets on sale. I did extend it until Friday, just to make sure that people could get in there if they wanted to. So go to that and you can join us for that event. Super happy to have you there. And so by doing that, the whole goal of this, of creating events like Everything AI, we have another event coming in January that's all about pitching screenplays, both as a writer. How do you pitch your projects? How do you pitch yourself as a writer and as a reader? And as a reader, how do you find screenplays and then pitch them to producers to help writers along? So that's something that readers can sometimes do. So really understanding pitches can be really exciting. So we're going to do that in January. 10 to 4 each day for that event. And those of you that have signed up, keep an eye on your email. You'll be getting an email very soon that has kind of the details of what to expect for those 2 days. So I'm really excited about it. And I'm excited about these new events because what we're trying to do is basically future-proof your career, right? Give you things that you can use that will help you design a circle that is not quite so bumpy, maybe a little bit bumpy, just bumpy enough to be interesting. That's what we're going for. We want an interesting life that's not too bumpy. So I hope that makes sense for you. So exciting. I'm excited too. I think it's going to be really exciting. And it's a really great group so far. I'm really thrilled with the people that are signing up. And so you'll get to know your fellow writer readers, and you'll get to, I'll get to hang with you, get to know you a little bit better. I love these longer events, kind of like the boot camp where I got to know some of you pretty well. I love that. Readers are the customer service agents for writers. Take them by the hand. It's so good. And it's something that we really look at reading here as a job of service to help writers. And help producers. We want to help that writer find the very best characters, create things that are life coaching tools that also work for characters, really help those writers, like really get deep characters. And then also, how do you help those producers get that script to the screen? How do you find the right project for the right producer? How do you find, as a reader, you can be out there reading your friends' screenplays and find something and bring it back to the producer. You have that potential. If you develop a relationship for a producer, absolutely, you can go find screenplays for them. So that's what we'll be studying in January. How do you go out and do that? We also have our Insider Track program, our accelerator programs, which are our study programs where you can learn how to read and analyze screenplays. And then you can also, within that, we also show you how to get work, how to build clients, like depending on what you want to do, whether you want to be a reader that helps writers, whether you want to finish your screenplay, whether you want to be a reader that helps producers, whether you want to use your reading skills to make movies. Like, there's so many ways you can go, and it's just growing like crazy, and we've been having a blast, and it's super fun. And we like to do these trainings. You can kind of get a glimpse of what we're about here and see, how it might work for you. is a little different for everybody. So I love it. Thank you guys so much for showing up today. And it's been really fun. I hope that you have the smoothest ride possible, for sure.